Sup y'all, it's me, it's your boy Asmongold, and today I wanted to talk to you guys about gold inflation, the negative effects of it that I'm seeing right now, and also a number of other things that are related to that that all kind of fall under the umbrella term of the economics of Warcraft, and more specifically what I want to look forward at, not forward to by the way, is the economics of Legion and how Warlords of Draenor is going to potentially negatively affect that unless Blizzard does a couple of things to negate the amount of gold that's being injected into the economy ever since Warlords of Draenor came out, especially with the garrison missions. Now, I actually wasn't even going to do this video, to tell you guys the truth. I've said that a lot of times with a lot of videos, but this is actually true. Today was Tuesday. Actually, it's 7:30 in the morning on Wednesday right now because I've stayed up all night. But today, for me at least, was Tuesday, and we did our raid, Hellfire Citadel, killed all the bosses. I didn't get shit. Actually, that's not true. I'm about to tell you guys what I got. And so every single week, we bring in a couple of buyers. A lot of guilds do this, and those people get, they get achievements, they get mounts, they get pets. They actually probably don't get pets now, and they especially get gear. And like a lot of people want to do that so they can pretend like they have the experience, they get into better pugs, and other people just want to get it done before the expansion's over and then pretend like they did it whenever it's current content back 2 years from now, or 2 years ahead of now. But anyway, so those people, in their gratitude, or not really the gratitude, the trade that we make with those people is a lot of fucking money, guys. I've made, I'll tell you guys the truth. Today, 3 hours, I made 150,000 gold by carrying people through Hellfire Citadel. Now, that is a lot of money. I mean, we can math that out, and that's going to be 50,000 per hour. There you go. But anyway, we've gotten to the point, and I mailed over the gold to my other character, and I just realized, you guys will see right here, is that I have over 4 million gold. And guys, this isn't just, just a video for me to just pat myself on the back for having 4 million gold, though. But I mean, for real, though, that's 4 million gold. It's pretty good, though, right? Anyway, I'm thinking, honestly, guys, where am I even going to put all my gold when I run out of gold caps on all my characters? I talked to my mom about that, and she actually suggested that I give the gold to her characters. She thought that was a good idea. But anyway, I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet. Maybe I might just invest in Spectral Tigers, but Blizzard just keeps giving me so many of them, there's no real point. Anyway, so really, I'd say that there's a lot of really big problems with the way that Warlords of Draenor has handled gold, and a lot of it stems out of the garrisons. One of the biggest mistakes I think that they made, it's really kind of hard for me to say, but one of the biggest mistakes they made with garrisons was introducing the treasure finder trait. That injected so much extra raw gold into the economy, and it's very basic economics. Whenever you inject more money into the economy without goods for that money to chase, the current goods in the economy become more expensive. That's called inflation. So that's exactly what's happened right now. We can charge maybe 1.5 to 2 mil for the Archimon mount right now. Anyway, guys, the real point that I'm trying to get at here is the Archimon mount from Hellfire Citadel, and even the Blackhand mount from Blackrock Foundry, is so much more expensive to buy a carry for than the Siege of Orgrimmar mount, or also the Deathwing mount from back in Cataclysm. And obviously, I think that there are a lot of reasons for that. With the previous ones, there were 2 mounts that dropped from the end boss, and not just one that dropped from Blackhand and Archimon. And so I do recognize that there are differences, and those tiers had lasted longer than Hellfire Citadel has currently lasted, so we don't really know what the bottom line price is going to be. But I would be very surprised if it went below 700,000 gold as just like a baseline. So the point that I'm really trying to get at here is that it's kind of having all of this extra gold in the economy has ended up polarizing players in terms of their wealth. And I feel like I'm fucking Bernie Sanders talking about this, but let's be real. You got one person like me making 150,000 gold an hour, and then you got another person looking up on YouTube trying to find guides to make 2,000 gold an hour, not 150,000 gold an hour. Now maybe next week, but just 50,000 gold an hour. So there's just this huge disparity between things, and also one of the big problems here is that players don't really have a lot of things that they can farm that's current content. Warlords of Draenor didn't really bring in a lot of new materials, and also so players who were able to maybe potentially make money through professions, there's no way that can happen because garrisons, any gathering profession, the garrison herb garden or the mining, the mine or whatever, it produced way too many of the reagents and materials. It produced so many that you didn't even need to farm anything, and so it was automatically given to you. So those professions became effectively useless. And the real problem for that is a lot of people use those professions to make money, and so now this person no longer has this way that they're going to make money. And so they could say, okay, well maybe I could go farm, other mobs out in the world. and this used to be very common in Wrath of the Lich King, and it really kind of started to stop, actually really just this expansion, and I think one of the big reasons for that is they made a lot of consolidations with crafting materials on top of making them very easy to get. There is no like real cloth in Warlords of Draenor, and there is fur, but cloth and fur have been consolidated, so now that's one less thing that people were able to farm, and that one thing is being produced, mass produced by barns so often and so much that there's really going to be an oversaturation of the market to begin with, so farming that stuff out yourself really wouldn't be worthwhile. So anyway, a lot of the other things that you can farm in Warlords of Draenor are very either RNG based, like with the medallions of the Alliance, or the medallions of the Legion, or also very hard to do, like the Highmaul or the Dark Portal rares. And so a person coming into the game right now has very, very limited options on how they're going to create money and how they're going to get money. And outside of doing Cataclysm 25-man heroic raids, there's very, very little things that they can do that are actually going to net them a very large amount of money, at least on my server. So you have like this very big disparity and like kind of this glass ceiling where players can't really break through that and start making as much money as the higher level players that are able to sell carries and everything else like that. Now, obviously, this is an emergent gameplay problem that, you know, like obviously this is supply and demand. There's a very, very small supply of Archimonde mounts, and there's a very large supply of Sumptuous Fur. And so obviously Sumptuous Fur is worth a lot less than an Archimonde mount, but at the same time, I think the disparity between the two and the reduced amount of things that players can farm and go out and do in order to get money has been actually really, really bad for the economy, and has created very, very high prices and made it very hard for people to actually buy anything that they really need to get outside of just doing garrison missions. So I think that the main problem with this is the, you know, and I do really think it's a treasure hunter trait. I think it was a huge mistake to put that into the game, and I'm not surprised at all, actually, that Blizzard is taking out all of the gold components to the garrison whenever Legion comes out. That's actually a good idea, and I completely support that, even though obviously I will lose out on a lot of stuff. Now, what I would really like to see going into Legion, and you know, in terms of like a philosophy for what Blizzard is going to do to allow those players to move into the higher ranks and be able to farm money to where they can actually get some good gear without spending like 3 months on it or something like that. Because I mean, really, like if you're a person and you can play like, let's say 2 hours a day and you make 2,000 gold an hour, and you can only play 5 hours a day, it's going to take you weeks to get any sort of a piece of gear or anything like that. And it's just very, very hard for anybody to really move forward and move up whenever they don't really have anything that they can farm efficiently. And so what I'd really like to see them do in Legion is to add more gold sinks back into the black market auction house. And these gold sinks usually in the BMAH and or the Black Money Action House, and also from the vendors, similar to the Sands of Time for the mount in Oldham, I think. The Sandstone Drake, and all of those things are very tailored and catering towards high-level players, and so it's very good. And you know, make sure that those gold sinks are actually really intended for those high-level players like myself. We really have a lot of very high-level players have a lot of gold to spend. You know, so buying something for 3,000 or 5,000 gold from the game to actually remove that gold from the economy is actually a very, very good idea. I would really like to see them do a lot of that. Example of that is the Mists of Pandaria, besides the Black Money Action House, but also the Mists of Pandaria, what's that yak thing? It was like 108,000 gold. Yeah, the Grand Expedition yak. And so obviously, like, a lot of people have that, but it's not like a casual player or anything like that is going to have that. So it doesn't necessarily hold them back, but at the same time, it has higher level players putting their money back into the economy, so there's less money in circulation, and inflation is kind of I guess like it's kind of counteracted. Now, another thing is that they could always add a gold component into crafting. A lot of other games have this already now, where, you know, like if you're crafting something, you need like 5 iron bars and, you know, like some, I don't know, like 5 other things, and you also need like 2,000 or 3,000 gold. And so you put all those together to make the item, and I think that could be a possibility. I know a lot of people really wouldn't want that, but it would be a good way to take the gold out of the economy. Also, another thing that they could do, because they're getting rid of honor points and conquest points, and so make all the PvP gear from previous seasons purchasable with gold, and that would allow people to spend their gold on that if they wanted to get better transmog or anything like that, and make it like kind of a semi-expensive. I mean, not like ridiculous price, of course, but something relatively high, so it can actually take a sizable amount of gold out of the economy. Now, what this is also going to do is it's going to allow players who are maybe like pretty new to the game, or maybe they're coming back to the game, not be so far behind. I've talked about this a lot of times. Now, a lot of people probably call me an elitist, and in a lot of ways I am, but in many ways I'm not. My end goal always is to make the game better, because that's what helps me, right? If more people play the game, if the game is at the better state, more people are going to play it, then there's going to be a larger percentage of people who have the possibility of watching my video. So it's good for me whenever more people play. I think it would be a very good idea for that, because it pretty much separates, again, the lower level players from the higher level players. And the more separation there is, the harder that those lower level players have to go to get up there. And oftentimes there are these arbitrary barriers and places where they really just can't break through that ceiling and get up into that level. And it can be frustrating, especially when other players are gating your progression. So I think that Blizzard really needs to look at how they handle gold, and making sure that lower level players and just people that don't really have a whole lot of time, but maybe they like to do things with professions, they just like to farm things out, like back in the previous expansions, that's possible to do. I really think that consolidating all of the crafting materials into the garrison was a huge mistake. I think that the treasure hunter trait was a huge mistake, as I said before. A lot of the things that they've done to add more gold into the economy, I think will have a lasting negative effect, and it's happened a lot in Cataclysm. I'm not really sure why, but it happened a lot there, and it took until about the end of Mists of Pandaria for the prices to go back down to where it was semi-reasonable, to where people weren't paying over $1 million gold for certain things. Now, that's really kind of the main thing, is I would like them to add more farming spots in Legion for players to do, similar to, like people would farm out an Ice Crown just to get like Frostweave Cloth and stuff like that. That's going to help players out a lot who don't really have a lot of time, who aren't really that well geared, but can go out there and just kill mobs and make some money. That's really good. Also, if they could make professions profitable again in a lot of different ways, just even the crafting professions, because there's such an abundance of the items that you need for the crafting professions that you're really just breaking even every single time that you make something and sell it. And also what they could potentially do is they could not increase the gold that you loot per mob in Legion. I think that would probably be a good idea. I know, that's pretty much like where I'm at here. I know that some of these ideas might be, like whenever I suggest something that is not really like a buff for the players, like everybody wants to get more stuff and nobody ever wants to have anything taken away. But at a certain point, I think that whenever we're at the numbers that are as high as we are now, and the inflation is at its high, at the high point that it is now, I really do think that they need to take drastic measures, or at least be mindful of the problem and be looking for a long-term solution to get rid of it. It hurts. It really, really hurts the lower level players and the casual players and everything, and it really, really benefits the higher level players who have a lot of time, who are in raiding guilds and can do carries and everything like that, such as myself. And so allowing those lower level players to be able to farm something and really feel like they're doing something with their time that's worth it and it's effective, and that they're doing something profitable and engaging and worthwhile, I think is going to really, like, a lot of people like to farm. My mom is one of those people. She just pretty much liked to farm items back in Vanilla and Burning Crusade, and even in the Wrath of the Lich King. So going back to that paradigm, I think would probably be a good idea. But anyway, that's pretty much all I've got. I'm curious to see what you guys think. I don't really know what they're going to do, but I know that they did get rid of the gold components of the garrison missions, which is a good thing. But we'll see what they do besides that. Anyway, let me know what you guys think, and that's pretty much all I got. So thanks for watching, and like, comment, subscribe.